invite one of our guest speakers. He's a graduate and postgraduate student on development from the University of Dhaka, and he's currently working in Youth Center on the social business team as an assistant program officer. Before he joined Youth Center in 2016, he worked as a research assistant handling different projects at Blackberry University and ICDTRD. He has previously worked as an executive head at Bangladesh Youth Empowerment Society. Being a social business and an entrepreneurial enthusiast, he has volunteered with different organizations for 5 years. So let's welcome Mr. Zaid Uddin, the Assistant Program Officer at Youth Center Dhaka.
I am not a competitor. Okay. So, how are you all? So, be exhausted because this competition you were listening to the judges. So, everything is bit closing. So, here I am. Thank you all for having me here and thanks for inviting me here. And first of all, in my presentation, I will try to cover what we do in the center and what social business is. We're actually competing in social business competition that I don't know what are you sure about social business principles or not. I'm not sure because you're showing some business ideas, but whatever the social business, it is social business or not. So I will try to clarify. And finally, I will discuss about our global movement, how social business is spreading all around the world. So, first of all, what Unicenter is? Unicenter is a one-stop resource center. Like, if you have any issues on social business, you can connect with us, and we are here to help you. And we are working with a vision and mission, and our vision is the same vision from Professor Muhammad Yunus. Our vision is that we want to put poverty into poverty museum, as like Yamin Ban and Professor Muhammad Yunus. And our mission is that we wish to do it by 2050 by promoting and expanding social business ideas and initiatives. So, what we do in the center, we're working in 3 teams. First team is social business team. We are responsible to promote social business, and I am from social business team personally. And second team is working with media and press things. And third team is closely working with Professor Muhammad Yunus, which is called in the secretariat. They are responsible to accept the invitations and everything, and they schedule Professor Muhammad Yunus test. And we arrange some events. Our signature event is Social Business Day, which will be held on 20th and 29th July. This is a biggest event of social business around the globe. Almost 2,000 participants will be there. And we arrange Social Business Design Lab, monthly programs, Social Business Open House. We help to arrange Social Business Academia Conference, Social Business Global Summit, and many more programs. And we're establishing a library, which will be full of books on economics, journal articles, and everything. And we do some consultancy in the center. For example, if you have a business and you wish to convert it to social business, so we will help you to design your plan and everything. And sometimes we help people to convert their volunteer organization to social business organization. So, So before going to the social business area, let's have a look how it was done. So first of all, what economy said to us, we all are human rational being and we all are driven by profit maximization. So why I'm here? Because I'm here to maximize my profit. Why are you here? Obviously have some purpose. But Professor Muhammad Yunus surprisingly thought that in every human being we have 2 parts. One is selfish, and we do everything from our selfish part. We do business, we make money for ourselves. But whatever the selfish part, we help people, we donate part, we are trying to do something for society. So why economy always put this selfish part in the business? Why not selfish part? So if we put the selfish part in the business, what will happen? And get into the social business. So it's a selfless business, and it will be a non-dependent company to solve social problems. So we will have a business which will be dedicated to solving social problem, but not to buy a product, not to build a lot of houses, not to like visit Europe. Okay, so business to solve social problem, the basic agenda of social business. So why we will do it? This is a quotation from Professor Muhammad Yunus. Making money is happiness. Where we make money, we become happy. Yeah, I am doing something. But when you help people and when people will be happy, that will make us super happiness. So how he told it. And so to be a social business, you have to follow 7 principles of social business. So those are like competing in the competition. Just please have a look. You are planning a social business. So are you following these 7 principles? If not, then it will not be a social business. It will be a conventional business. So first of all, you have to have a social objective. Then you are trying to solve social problem. Yeah, you are doing it. So 5 done and I saw, yeah, you are following it. You all are trying to solve some social problems, helping people. And second one, what is your initiative? It should be economically and financially sustainable, because you will do something with this business, but if your business is not sustainable, then how will you do it? Yeah? And third one is, when there are some investors that who will invest in a business, they will get back the invested amount only. So if it's $100 million investment, you will get it back only $100 million. Okay, so not more than that. And so no dividend will be given from this company. Be clear that no dividend. Okay, because you are doing social business. If you dream that yeah, you will be rich by 10 years, it's not possible. Because you are doing it for people and no dividend will be given from the company. And the fourth principle, when the invested amount is paid back, for example, it's $1 million, in 5 years you have paid it back, and what will happen for the next profit? Yeah, that will go with the expansion of company. So if you are helping 100 people, you will have 1,000, you will have 2,000, and a lot of people around the world. And fifth one, the initiative you are taking should be gender sensitive and environmentally conscious. You have to have the access for male and female in your business, and obviously environmentally conscious, because if you create another problem by air pollution, water pollution, so what is the point of helping people, right? So this is the fifth one. And sixth one, the workforce who will work in your company, they have to get the regular wages, like depending on his capacity. If you work in another company, what they will pay, you will have to pay the same amount of money to those employees, and obviously better working conditions. And the last one, do it with joy. You are doing a business, you have investment, you have everything, but you are not taking dividend. So how long it will continue? So in a point you can feel bored, yeah, why I'm doing it. So for this reason you have to be happy, you have to keep the joy within you. Yeah, I'm trying to do something for people, and they do like help you to do something best. And why you will not do like a charity work? So you can ask me. There are a lot of NGOs, there are a lot of donor organizations doing a lot of people are trying to do something. So why social business? When you are doing charity, you are giving it at all. So you have no track of this money, what he is doing with this money. But when you are doing social business, that will be a social business model. And in this model, you will have track, you have business persons and everything. And through this business, you will help people. And if you reinvest it again and again, you are investing $1 million in a company and you are getting it back. So you will invest in another sector, another company, and you're getting it back. So you are using same amount of money in different sectors. You are helping people to solve their problem, right? So that is why Professor said, and when it is a social business dollar, it has endless life. So you will be reinvested again and again. So how it was evolution from the Grameen Bank. So when he was started by Grameen Bank, it was like for affordable finance for the poor, like microcredit. And then it was thought about that in bigger scale, the sustainable enterprise to address other needs like Grameen Shakti, Grameen Shikha, other companies. And finally, social business came out. So this is the more sustainable, because when people are using their donation and their money everywhere, so why not invest in social business? And so yeah, is there a company working in social business? You are applying for social business. Yeah, there are some companies in Bangladesh. They are running different businesses in different sectors. Some of them are helping people with technology. Some of them are helping people with water crisis, education, etc. So just I will show you 3 barriers First one is Grameen Danone Foods. So Danone is a company from France and Grameen from Bangladesh. So they have come up with an initiative. So to be a social business, at first you have to like identify a problem. So what was the problem in Bangladesh back in 2000, 2005, 2006? Child malnutrition. So to solve this problem, you have a product. And yes, there is yogurt, micronutrient yogurt for children. So if you like feed this yogurt to your children, it's enough for his nutrition bill for 1 week. A cup of yogurt for 1 week. And they design, and what is the approach? None of them are taking dividends, not Grameen or Danone. And they are meeting their needs, they are getting sustainable through cross-subsidization. So what is this? When they are selling this yogurt in rural area by 6 taka, they are selling it in urban area in super shop by 25 taka. So think, if the cost is 10 taka, then they have to subsidize 4 taka in rural area, and they are taking this money from urban area. So this is the way how they are getting sustainable, and they are trying to solve child malnutrition problem. And there was a research in 2015. So the research just saw that the children who are taking this product for a long time, they have better performance in like both in physical and cognitive level. Here is another example of Grameen. This is eye care hospital. Eye care treatment is very costly in Bangladesh. To solve this problem, they established 4 hospitals around the Bangladesh, and the same thing they are following is modern hospital. And if you are rich, you will be there and you will have to pay the regular amount of money what you have to pay in another clinic. But when you are poor and you will be there, and obviously you will get like subsidized prices, almost 500 taka. 5,000 for rich, 500 for poor. So you see, already 1 million patient reached and 50% from poor families. So a lot of help to the poor through social business. And the last one, Grameen View social business. So the problem was arsenic contamination of groundwater. So people just could not buy the bottled water from the market. So to solve this problem, they planted a water treatment plant in a rural area named Kumilla, and they are selling 20 liters of water in urban area by 70 taka. And when they are selling it 20 liters in rural area by 5 taka only. So you see the same product and everything, you are selling it 70 taka in urban area, you are making your cost, and when you are selling it in rural area, you are helping people. They can buy it by 5 taka only. Okay? And so this is how social business initiatives are going on. And internationally, we have a platform which is Union Social Business. So there are almost in Albania, Brazil, Colombia, India, Tunisia, Uganda. So they are also investing in social business initiatives, helping social business, and helping people who are interested in social business and trying to solve social problems also. And already they supported 500 plus entrepreneurs, and they created 3,000 plus jobs and a lot of things with social business.
Joel sir, if you can please expedite with due respect.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So we have another program which is Design Lab. It's a day-long program where we try to connect like investors and social business entrepreneurs. So if you're interested to get the investment, you can be there. And there are some investors who will help you with your investment. And in this program, we have already almost 11,000 plus, almost 15,958 projects presented and approved, all the same. And we have funded 1,500 1 million taka for those people. And in Bangladesh, we have social business fund. What they do, they give this fund to the new entrepreneurs, so 1 to 5 lakh taka, and they try to scale up their business. And here there are 4 companies: Grameen Trust, Telecom Trust, Grameen Shakti Samajik Bebsha, and Grameen Kollam. And internationally, Social Business Fund, Grameen Communities, Grameen Credit Agricole, Nepal Social Business Fund, they all are working with social business initiatives. So academia, we have partner universities, almost 34 universities signed with it, and which is like King's College is one of them. And what they are doing, they are working with social business initiative. Yeah, this is initiated by YSBC Nepal. So there is expanding social business initiative, academically, they are offering masters, PhDs, and workshop and different courses, and they are writing in different journals. So they are working with academic arena with Unicenter. And we have other activities like we have social business city in Germany, in Japan, Italy, and Spain, and finally Malaysia. We have 5 social business cities around the world. And we have online platforms. So what I told, you can visit socialbusinesspedia.com for all other ideas who are working with us, how many people are working all around the world, and to know about gramming companies. So it's our online platform, and there's something new for you, for business people. There's something like a corporate bank. So who are they? They are giant companies from all around the world. They are trying to solve social problems also with some social ventures. So we have action tanks in France, Brazil, and India. So Tata is working with social business. So a lot of giant companies, and here I think it's a Chaudhary Group. So they are working social business. So a lot of people coming up with different ideas. And we have some programs, Global Social Business Summit and Social Business Academia Conference, which will be held in 8 to 9 November 2017 in France. And we have some forums in Europe, Australia, Canada, Japan, South Asia, and North African Forum. So they all are working with social business. Yeah, so this is our biggest event. I am advertising to you. Believe me, because we are very busy with this program, which is approaching next month, 28 and 29 July. So almost 2,000 participants from all over the world. So it's huge gathering. If you have any interest to do something with social business, you will have a biggest network in Bangladesh. So registration is going on. If you're interested, anyone is interested, you can register for the event. So we will have country forum in the event. Almost 9 country forum. So in this country forum, people from different countries will be there, and they will discuss on different problems of their society, and they will try to solve it. So we will just give them the opportunity in our program. And finally, this is a new idea by Professor Mohammad Yunus. He is talking about 3 zeros. Why he just bear the torch in Olympic, you say he showed 3 fingers. Okay, so some of them said, why not 2? Why 3? Yeah, it's 3 ideas. One is zero unemployment, zero poverty, and zero net carbon emission. He wished that the whole world will be free of 3 things. Okay, and here is the good news for us. Paris is fighting for next Olympic in 2024. So if they win as a host, the central theme of the whole Olympic village within 3-0. So this is the biggest thing for us. If they can win it, we wish them all the best. And finally, I'm concluding here. So if you have any initiative, we say that we are one Eastern Research Center. So if you have anything to say, anything to us, you have any initiative, you choose something in social business, you can just knock us. Okay, you can come up with different ideas. So if you knock us, we obviously will help them, and we are here from Bangladesh to help you guys, to help YSBC. We hope that a lot of people will come up with different ideas. They will be interested in social business will go ahead and through this idea, we will put the poverty into Poverty Museum. So thank you all, thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, sir. It's time to call upon stage our next presenter. He is Mr. Rajan Madrak. His idea is farm. Farm is a farming and agricultural resources management dedicated to help the people in poultry sector. Farm plans to reduce the gap between Nepalese and local poultry by providing counseling, tools, and training for poultry.
So this social business, I have a plan to awaken low-level farmers to be in business and to get more profit by following the basic and major formulas to farm. So let's talk about poultry strategies in first. In Nepal, out of 75 districts, there are 64 districts where commercial farming is done. We have 21,956 farms in these districts, and poultry industry is rupees 33 billion industry in Nepal, which also gives 4% of GDP which came from recent data. We have more than 60,000 people directly involved in farming, poultry farming. I would like to say that this is my team. We are highly professional and highly qualified team members who are in business. Some of them are consultants, some of them are management experts, some of them are IT experts. So we are mobilizing this resource to give the lower level and mid-scale level farmers maximum profit. First, our vision. The vision of this project is to transform lower level farmers to entrepreneurs and make countries self-sufficient, self-sustained to export poultry products. The problem is inadequate knowledge of farm management and disease control, which leads farmer to quit the business. I'll just like to show you this picture. In this picture, you can see 6 chickens are there. They are like chickens of 36 days, which should have been around 1,800 grams, but when it came to our lab, it was just 800 grams. That was just because the person who was doing this farm was involved in farm by seeing and by copying his neighbor without having any proper knowledge. He started this farming. After 36 days and almost investment of almost more than 2 lakhs, he got the product, which after 10 days, which he should be able to sell and get the money return. But you can see the scenario, there were not even 800 grams in 36 days. So this situation, this scenario leads this low level farmers to quit the business. They are forced to quit the business. We are trying to find a solution for this. We are trying to find a solution for the problem that low level and mid level farmers are facing. For that, what we are planning is training. Training is the most important thing that you need to take if you are going to start anything or any business you are going to start. You need to know why are you doing and what are you doing. So we will be focused on training, in which we'll be teaching them the basic farm management practices. We'll be teaching them basic biosecurity practices, basics of disease control and prevention measures, and we'll also tell them how microfinance and banks are allowing them to take loan and make their business sustainable. So our target market, out of in the first slide I showed you, we have around 21,956. Only 300 farms are in high scale who have flock of more than 1 lakh birds, out of which 68 plus 30 farms, around 98% are below 40,000 or below 30,000 in numbers. So we are targeting mid scale, especially we are targeting low scale and mid scale farmers. What impact will these trainings and will this solution give to farmers is, in ideal condition, if you farm in an ideal condition and if everything goes fine, then you can get a profit around 40 to 45% in poultry. So now, as per our study, as per our research, what we got was some farmers are getting 10 to 12% of profit, some farmers are getting 40 to 45% of profit. But it was all because of lack of knowledge, lack of farm management practices, and lack of disease control and prevention measures. So we will help them increase their profit by 23%. And the major problem in Nepal in poultry farm is like, I'm doing farming today. If I get a loss, if I have to face a loss, I'm leaving. we are planning to make them stay in business. We are planning to ensure them that if proper management and proper methods are taken care of, then you can do it and you can you can scale up your investment, you can scale up your farm. So we are hoping that in the first year we will be able to maintain 700 out of 1500, we will be able to maintain 50% of the farmers to stay in business. I'll not talk much about financials. For training, we are already close to big poultry product manufacturers. We have got a lot of positive response for that. We'll be investing both that money we get from the poultry product manufacturers to farmers training. In the fund will be utilized. Major fund will be utilized for training management, and while we are giving a day-long session of training, we'll be giving them lunch and snacks and ITs. We'll have some salaries to staff who will be working on that. We'll have to go to different places, so we'll be investing some money in transportation as well. How we will achieve this? What we plan to do is we have a good network, we have a good team of members who have relations to the people who are in this industry. So we are focusing on personal selling. We are going to people, we are going to them and tell them that we are doing this kind of thing. If you need something, please come to us. If you need any training, any idea on that, please come to us. We are also running online promotions through social media and websites. We are having a SMS campaign. We have collected data of almost 70% of poultry farmers in Nepal. We are providing them information as well as we are providing them the schedules that we are planning to do. And we have a website through which we throw the information of all these things. The thing that will be taking them in trainings will be provided as matter for training will be provided in website as well. We are already running the website.
The training, do you have any training package?
Training package?
Yes.
I don't have here this thing.
Did you mention your presentation?
Yes. We are planning for 19 trainings in this year, 19 different locations. We have already scheduled it. We'll be moving out for trainings on July 28 from Eastern Region, from Finance. So we'll come from there to Western Region and we'll complete 19 programs this year.
So all the revenue will come from sponsors, or you will also charge?
No, we from initial stage of the business, we are not taking any money from farmers. We are just requesting our sponsors to help us to help their farmers. So we are not taking anything from farmers. We are just giving them. We are just giving our technical assistance. We are giving our lab assistance and all those things. The facility that we have, we are providing them. We are consulting them.
How much do you say you will need for the first year?
For the first year, for these 19 programs, we will be requiring 2.7 million rupees.
7 million.
2.7 million.
Who invests the money?
We have manufacturing companies like you are from Bangladesh, you might know SK Plus.
He invests the money.
That company, that medicine, those medicine also go to Japanese market. So they will invest on us and will go to the farmer and will train them to be in business so that their business also grows and the farmers also get some profit.
This company is taking his own apprentice.
Yeah.
Actually, it is not making the social business because of, except for you have a pharmaceutical company. You want to help the poor, you want to sell the medicine very affordable price for the poor people. And if you only keep your medicine in the hospital or stores, your attention is, you will sell your product for making money.
No, sir. Actually, we are not selling or we are not selling the product.
No, this investor, this investor, he invests the money because he will sell the product for different prices. So if it is good, if there is options, if you choose, there are 3 or 4 companies, you choose one or two, they will take the advantage from their choice group companies. And this business, if you do, you will have to first buying these goods from this company. That is the problem.
No, sir. It's not like that. What I was
Because he told me that he is the investor.
He invests for training. Actually, in Nepal, what is the training? Like company from Bangladesh is selling their products. Cargill comes to Nepal. Cargill's product is flourished in Nepalese market. They come here, they go to the farmers and they teach them about the Cargill's product. But what we are doing is, we are telling them to invest in website. We are promoting their products, we are promoting them through website, and we are taking that money, the profit that we are making from that website, we are taking that money to farmers, to the farmers.
The profit will stay in the company.
We have Mr. Nishant Sapota. His venture is Agrotech. Agrotech will create a ground road that will be implemented into the soil with a moisture sensor, which when the moisture of the soil becomes low, activates the sprayers that are embedded in the ground, which will spray water as per requirement automatically. Moreover, it will also spray pesticides for the farmers, which saves time. So here he is to present about his venture, Agrotech.
Living in this beautiful country, we are all aware that agriculture is the primary system of our country, constituting over 49% of the GDP of our country. Still 60% of our farmers are not able to feed themselves. The main reasons are drought, extreme climate, effective fertilizers, and unscientific agriculture. And this is the main social problem of our country. So to solve this social problem, we have developed our product named AAS, which stands for Advanced Agriculture System. So our product is basically a system with multiple sensors and mechanisms as listed in our slides. There it consists of 2 sensors and 3 mechanisms. The basic pattern that the sensor does that is it indicates the moisture level in the soil. It indicates the moisture level in our soil, and when the moisture level becomes below the required level, it activates the pump mechanism which sprays the water. And for the sensor, temperature sensor, it detects the temperature and provides greenhouse. It provides greenhouse effect and makes the optimum output of the supply. And to the target market and opportunity, ideal customers are our farmers, and supplementary customers are agricultural tractors, commercial agriculture-based companies, NGOs, INGOs in agriculture field. And for the market size, as our country is agriculture, we all know that we have a great market size for that. And now I would like to call our next colleague for this meeting.
As my colleague presented you about the business idea, I am here to tell you about the revenue model. In the emerging year, we have estimated to sell the product up to 600 and to cover the area up to 2 lakh meters square. And in the second year, we have estimated to reach across 700 products and 2.5 lakh area. And in the third year, we have estimated to cross 900 products and reach 3 lakh meters square area. And let me talk to you about the competitive advantage. What could be the business if there are not enough competitors, isn't it? So to be at the top of the competitors, we have generalized softwares that is fully functioning product. We test each and every product so that to make sure that each and every product works perfectly. And all our products will be easy to set up, even for a simple farmer. And we will use latest technology and update time to time. And talking about price, it will be relatively cheap in comparison to the competitors. And the systems and products made by international companies were found to not work properly in Nepal because of the Nepalese topography and Nepalese indifference in culture. So we'll keep that in mind, and also fully we'll utilize local resources. And let me talk about marketing strategy. We do product marketing through social media, Facebook pages, Twitter, YouTube pages, advertising through online and source platforms, and we will conduct seminars and surveys to link with our customers. And we will manage banners and posters. And to talk about the team, we have diligent personnel in the respective field. We are from engineering background. And I can make sure that we have grand coordination and collaboration, and we are full of enthusiasm and energy to change the future of agriculture. And trust me, we are dynamic and we are spontaneous to the problem and to seek solution. And now I am going to call my next colleague to present you rest of the story.
Today is necessary is to perform, to work and to build. And investment is its base. Talking about investment, here is the right, we have startup capital table where we have calculated estimated budget for raw materials and for its manufacturing. Here is we have calculated around 4,500 for 338 meters square. And talking about for first month fixed packages, estimation is given. And further talking about the financial section, in the left there is our yearly progress first 3 years. It will be increasing since we have estimated that our sales will be increasing every year. And for 1 unit of product, cost will be 4,500 rupees. And market, it brings the essence of competition. So for primary competitors will be agro suppliers, fertilizer sellers, and commercial agro-based companies. And their weakness, after studying the market, we found that the weakness is selling a product in parts, lack of skilled manpower for training and installation. Further, our weapon for tackling that problem is uniqueness of product and provision of skilled manpower. So for the introduction, I would like to call it for finish.
Greetings again, everyone. And now I am here to talk you about the social impact and the scope of our business idea. We are all students of Kathmandu University, which is located at Bhubaneswar, and there is a small village in the height of 28 kilo. And we went there to discuss the problem they are facing in agriculture. And the first and foremost problem they told us was irrigation. And when we presented our idea, at first they didn't understand, so they refused us. But when they understood, the community was ready to buy 3 products, each up to 15,000 Nepalese rupees. And when we make our first product, we will test it from my own hometown, which is Bundu. And I am from agricultural background. My family is farmers, and it is a very good place to test our first product. And the main scope of our idea is that the number of engineers in our country is increasing, but the job opportunity is not
Sorry, the time is over.
Thank you.
Please stay back. The judges, would you like to ask any questions?
Yes, of course. There is conflicts like working with it.
There are enough competitors that are selling international products, but I think I have not known about any Nepalese company that produce and manufacture their
This is your idea, but you don't know this kind of company is in Nepal.
We researched a lot and we found out many companies that sell the products, but it was hard to find any company that produce its own such machines and equipment.
What is your social impact?
Our social impact is, as I told earlier, it is to to be a catalyst and promote other engineers and persons like us to involve in such companies, and hopefully if our business succeeds, it will be a very great opportunity for engineers for jobs and other opportunities.
A number of people will be employed initially.
Initially, summing up all the personnel and all technicians, only up to 10 to 12 personnel are needed.
But right now it's being imported. So did you also find through the research that is there a reason why the technology is not being used? You know, what's the acceptance rate by the farmers? Are they using the technology, or do you think there's a problem with the technology, which is why you're coming up with your solution?
People are using machines for rice cultivating and wheat cultivating, and they are using it as a rent, which was made by international manufacturers. So I know something about the farmers. They are enjoying the machines, and the rental cost is too much. And as far as I know, people are willing to pay up to 5,000 to 6,000 per hour for that machine. So I think that the price and the acceptance of people is not a problem for us. It's minimum 4,500 per product, so it is not that.
Now we have the next speaker for our event, Ms. Sumana Shrestha, who is the founder of Carbon Nepal. She has been able to use the basic concepts to solve larger problems since her return to Nepal in 2015. Formerly a consultant with the Western Consulting Group with an MBA from MIT Sloan School of Management, she was the founder of social group Carbon Kathmandu and Medication for Nepal. She has been a heritage activist utilizing her skills to form movements like Save Heritage and Rebuild Kashmir. Currently, she is working on her travel startup, Bundu, and her feminist clothing line, Urban Ways. So I am pleased to request Ms. Sumana Shrestha to come on stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are you still awake after a long program? Good. So look, I was asked to speak as an experience, to speak about my experience as an entrepreneur in Nepal, and I will do that. First of all, everybody who's an aspiring entrepreneur, welcome to the wonderful world of entrepreneurship. But along with that, it is a very tough journey. So I'll share 3 particular stories with you. Take everything, every advice you get, always with a grain of salt. It might not always fit what you are trying to do, right? So let me start with one thing that is a the factor. Entrepreneurship is very hard. It is a very, very long journey. It is a marathon, ultra marathon. If you can put ultra in front of it, that's what it is. It's not a sprint. It takes a really long time. For example, I've been working, the travel startup that you mentioned, I've been working on it for over a year and a half. And I still don't know if it's going to work or not. Secondly, this is a journey where you can be very certain you will miss a lot of your friend's birthday. You can be very certain you will miss a lot of your relatives' Kobiha. Very certain you will miss a lot of get-together because you just don't have time. You just don't have time to do anything but work on this idea that you have. It almost becomes your baby. And just like you cannot live an infant, you have to take care of it all the time. When you're working in your idea, there is no such thing as, I'm not going to do a particular job, I'm not going to do that particular job. Oh, this is so well beneath me. I have an MBA from a fancy school, I am not going to do that. There is no such thing like that. You just end up having to do everything to make your idea work. So be prepared. Be very prepared to work on be it marketing, be it production, be it learning the basics of coding, be it pitching, be it actually going around and being a salesperson. Be ready for everything. Because without that, it's very hard. If you are not prepared to do that, it's very hard to convince other person to follow your idea, right? That is, I think, the first and foremost If you remember anything from what I'm going to speak, remember that. It's a long journey, but it's a journey worth taking because you believe in your idea. If you don't believe in your idea, it's very hard to convince any angel investor to invest in you. It's very hard to get any kind of VC funding. It's very hard to get partnerships going. Yeah? All right, on to my second experience. In Nepal, money is always an issue. It will continue to be an issue as long as we don't have a really good angel investor network. It's going to continue to be hard as long as the ideas are not valued by the government of Nepal, right? Where the only thing they value if you're trying to put together a company is you have to produce cash. As long as registration of companies and dissolving the companies is going to be problematic, it's always going to be hard for anybody to take a risk in a startup because we don't have that culture yet. We have project-based funding, but for a startup perspective, we don't have that. So money is always going to be an issue. And by the way, it's not just an issue for Nepal because of the reasons I laid out. Money is always an issue for everybody, everywhere. The friends I went to MIT Sloan School of Business with, they also have problems. But in the short term, unless that problem is resolved, what that means is you need to collaborate. You really need to collaborate. So I started Kathmandu, great. It did not need anything else besides internet and computer, right? And then I joined hands with Anushu's there and Manish, who is not here. It's always a collaborative platform. Medication for Nepal, this initiative that got mentioned by President Obama in his plenary speech in GES last year. Whenever I see fixed overheads for startups, I always question, you need to convince people who already have space to give you that space. You always need to be thinking of how you are going to make every single rupee that you have run further. Can you work with somebody so you're sharing an office space? Can you convince somebody who already has an office to give you an office space? I bring up medication for Nepal because the first 5 months of medication for Nepal, I actually worked out of this office, this technology company called Leapfrog Technology. I'm working in my startup Ubuntu, and I'm also asking for office space from there. That way I don't have a fixed overhead looming around my head saying I need to pay that bill, right? So you always need to think, how can you collaborate? And it's not just in terms of fixed costs that you need to collaborate. Nepal is such a tiny ecosystem of people who are working in stuff to solve something. You also need to think in terms of, okay, if you don't have the particular skill, can you take in somebody as a co-founder? Can you take in somebody as an equity partner, if not a co-founder? You need to be thinking along those lines. Because trust me, anybody who is not looking for a regular job, anybody who is thinking of saying, okay, I want to solve a problem, I want to be an entrepreneur, they have also their own ideas. So you need to convince them to join. And by collaboration, that's the only way I think in Nepal, we will move ahead. Because you just don't have that many amazing animating team. You just don't have that many awesome iOS developers. You just don't have that many in Nepal. It's a very small ecosystem. So collaborate with people with whose wavelength you work out, yeah? And also collaborate with people who actually have expertise. Like I saw some of the ideas presented here. It's great that you guys are trying to solve, but make sure you always have somebody who's a domain expert who's advising you, or who you bring in as an equity partner, yeah? Finally, my third reflection. So we talk a lot about social impact, we talk a lot about this term, social enterprise, but ultimately what is it? I'm glad all of you are participating, you're here, you're giving your time, but ultimately entrepreneurship is about solving a problem. Don't ask first a question, I want to be a social entrepreneur, ask a question, I want to solve a problem. And when you solve that problem, the social impact that you're trying to achieve comes along. It really does. I really did not start Carpool Kathmandu by saying I'm going to solve ABC problem. I did not started by saying I want to create a social impact. It was never even in my mind. I started it because I wanted to solve a problem. Same with medication for Nepal. I didn't start it because I want to have this social impact. No, it just came as a byproduct. Yes? So, first of all, always focus on the problem that you're trying to solve. Focus on the customers for whom you're trying to solve that problem. And always validate your ideas with those customers. It really gives gives a really good pat on the back when the customer, for example, I'm wearing my clothing line, Urban Reigns here. Anytime anybody says, oh, that's a great idea, it gives you a boost. It gives you a boost like nobody else can give. So keep on validating, try to improve, and move on. And finally, don't get carried away by accreditation, mentions, or whatever society will validate you in terms of media validation. Because if you start getting carried away by those things, it is very likely you will take undue pressure in yourself. If you get mentioned by Malin Times in the first 6 months, you will feel a pressure saying, oh, why is the Valley Times not mentioning me? And you might lose focus on the problem you're trying to solve. So please, look, it is really good. And please don't get carried away by lingos like, oh, this person got funding. Yes, funding is great to have, especially if you're an angel investor, it's great. If you get Series A funding, that's even great. But don't get carried away. There are so many things that we as, I think, a business enterprise, business industry have not been able to measure. We talk about triple bottom lines quite a lot, but I will really challenge anybody to say, really show me a construct, show me a framework that teaches us how to measure that triple bottom line. Mostly it's always been driven, so far it has been driven very much by the revenue and profit. Nobody really knows what it means to give dignity to a group of people when they are trying to improve their lives. Nobody really knows how to measure that. Nobody really knows what's the value of giving a child an education, right? We just say, okay, we're giving education, but there's also a big value to it. It's a huge actuarial problem that I don't think modern world has solved. What it has solved is what it knows how to solve, which is profit, revenue, gross margin, net margins. So don't let your business be dictated, or don't let your idea be dictated by just monetary terms. There are so many things, and I hope someone among you will come up with a framework that actually teaches the world how to measure social impact in its truest sense. Not just in terms of money, not just in terms of, okay, so if I have to talk about social impact of medication for above, it helped over 50,000 people, I mean, no kidding, right, with like $25,000. But is that the only measure of social impact? Probably not. How do you measure some, like a grandmother's work to a grandchild? It's really hard. So don't get carried away by the lingos that you will definitely learn in business school. Stay true to your cause, and remember, even if the social validation has not come yet, keep at it. Because I think the one term that I would really like to communicate to everybody is this big word that starts with P, perseverance. There is no substitute for perseverance. And I hope each of you who presented your ideas here, whether you win, whether you don't win, I hope you're going to continue working on those ideas. Primarily because it solves somebody's problem. Primarily because you'll be helping a huge segment of a population that has been left out. Yes, I wish all of you best. And I think I'm coming to my time. I hope I'll meet you all in other platforms, and all the best. Thank you.
Now we move on to our next presenter. She is Ms. Swaksha Sharma with her venture Spring Sanitary Napkins, which aims to provide locally manufactured sanitary napkins to women in rural areas of Western Hill region of Nepal. The locally manufactured sanitary napkins available at comparatively low price will help to promote safe sanitary habits during periods in rural women. The venture will also promote safe sanitary habits through its marketing campaigns.
Meet Maya. She is from the Far Western Development Region, hilly area. She is compelled to spend 3 to 5 days of every month in a mud shelter like this because of the prevailing Tholpari Pratha. It is a tradition in the far western and mid-western hilly region of our country where women who menstruate are compelled to spend their period timing in the mud hut which is not properly ventilated. Most of the time, so many girls suffer physical damages and mental damages because of such traditions. So many girls have lost their life to the absorbent that the women in those areas use are the lifts or the rocks. They do not have much access to the sanitary pads. According to Nepal Fertility Care Center, every day 2,92,000 women bleed, out of which 82% of the rural women do not have access to sanitary napkin. Thus, I have come with an idea of manufacturing a sanitary napkin that is low cost, which will cost just around rupees that can be afforded by the women in the rural areas. It will be locally manufactured, that will help women in those areas to get easy access to those sanitary napkins. Also, these are affordable since it is a low cost item and it will be low priced at a lower rate. The vision that Spring Sanitary Napkins mainly has is to eradicate the unhealthy menstrual habits that the women in those areas follows. Another mission is contributing a smaller amount of effort in eradicating the Chaupadi Pratha that is prevailing in those areas. The mission that we have to achieve our vision is creating awareness through various marketing campaigns and various events in those areas. Another mission that we have is minimizing the negative consequences that the women in those areas get because of the practice that they have in those regions. Our target market basically is the rural areas women who do not have the access to sanitary napkin, and few of the urban areas women who are not satisfied with the existing sanitary pads. Our major marketing strategy is to collaborate with various institutions, that may be academic institutions or non-government institutions that work for health sector and women empowerment sector. There are so many institutions that buy sanitary napkins and distribute in those areas. We will try to collaborate with them so that they buy the sanitary napkins from us. Another marketing strategy is advertisement. We will do advertisement in the radio because not many people have access to television in the rural areas. However, television advertisement will also be considered to promote the product in urban areas. Personal selling. We will also try to focus on selling our product on the supermarkets in the area where our factory will be situated. Awareness campaign and events. In the rural areas, there are various trade fairs which are really smaller. We will try to have our stall in those trade fairs and exhibitions and try to create awareness to the women in those areas about the importance of menstrual hygiene as well as providing the information that we have our product to solve the problem of unhygienic menstrual practices. Our competition, the major competitors will be the existing sanitary products that are already well established in the market. However, we have the strategies to compete with them because most of the sanitary pads that are available in the market are above rupees 70 and that cannot be afforded by the rural women. Thus, we have strategies on focusing the ignored group of consumers because most of the established sanitary napkins, they do not focus on those group of consumers who cannot afford the product because their profit is already accompanied by the number of consumers that they already have because of the higher price range. A low cost strategy, since our products are lowly priced than the existing products, it would be favored. Well-maintained relationship with various institutions. As I have already mentioned that we are trying to collaborate with various institutions. We will try to maintain a good relationship with them by communicating well and maintaining the relation that we have already established. Also, we will focus on continuously improving ourselves and changing. We will take feedbacks from the small group of customers that we have. This is the sales forecast for the 5 years. We will have is in the thousands. We will have loss for the first 1 year and payback period is 1.5 years. Other financial description I have given in the business plan. This is the use of fund. We are using the fund. Fund to buy the plant and machinery and furniture and fixtures for the office and pre-operating activities and for initial working capital. Since we are a very small manufacturing concern, we do not intend to take loan. We intend to make the capital structure out of equity only. and also we will try our best to not to make investment on buildings and land. We will rather try to rent it on the initial years. After we have been operating really well, we will try to have our own land and building. Thank you. And last, I would like to say that the major focus of our business is basically manufacturing the sanitary napkins for the rural areas women. However, we want to make another impact to the society, that the profit generated from the sales of sanitary napkins, some portion of the profit will be utilized to minimize the consequences of the prevailing Chaupari Pratha, because we believe, because I myself, my family made me stay in a hut while I first menstruate. They didn't make me stay in a non-ventilated hut, but they made me stay outside the home. And I believe if we can build something like that which is well facilitated and the women there can live during their periods, then I think the physical damage and the mental damage that the women will go through will be minimized. Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions for the judges?
Perfect. You are saying perfect 60 rupees. Okay. What is your production cost?
I'm saving I think 42 or something like that.
And your production cost?
It is around 27 or 26 or
You did not mention. This
not
idea is
mentioned.
very good. We have the same social business in Bangladesh. The investment cost is very low, and the machine, it has locally produced by the local, and it is only for the garment studies. And now we are thinking it will be in our Bangladesh, per day it will take the minimum, this project 70% covered all around the Bangladesh. And your idea is excellent idea, but we should do some redesign, especially we should not mention of the production cost, and not necessary to TV ad, because you should do awareness, especially the mother and the daughter. You should to connect and feed to the children. That is the main, because sometimes the daughter never tell to have that she is problem, either her problem. And good, very good.
I really like how you're thinking about, when you talk about using existing institutions, and you talk about utilizing their, leveraging their distribution networks to push your product out into the areas. And so I think that's a good strategy. And can you talk about a few organizations, like what kind of organizations are you thinking of?
Basically, those organizations which are working for the health sector, basically NGOs, because there are so many organizations who distribute sanitary napkins in schools and villages, rural areas. And we will also try to collaborate with the schools, the local school, government schools that are situated there. And also in the urban areas, we see so many socially caused events, like even beauty pageants these days are focused on the social side. They have a purpose, and I think if we can collaborate with such institutions, that we can also commercialize our product and push ourselves.
Per day, how pieces production? Yes, per day. You should mention here.
15,000. I have mentioned that in the business plan.
Business plan.
Do you have any expert in your team? Like, have you connected with any expert, like, who will, like...
I have tried to consult with my friend who is an engineering expert to if it is possible to manufacture those machinery in Nepal. Otherwise, we have planned to import them from India.
Next we have Dipesh Khanal with his venture AI Pani, which is an automatic system that controls the water pump and reduces the overflow of water to zero. Through the implementation of the product, the user can be carefree for water wastage, saving minimum of 10 liters of water a day. So may I please request the patient now to come ahead.
We are a tech company. We're working for Internet of Things, IoT. It's kind of like a huge brand nowadays. Next, we're working for electronics automation. Like in Nepal, IoT might be a very new thing to work on. So we're working in electronics automation as well. And we're working to make customizable and compatible products for the existing system. We don't want to use our system to replace existing system, but the system that we develop can be customizable and is compatible with the existing system in present scenario. So as explained, I'm here talking about the water problem. So let's look back after 5 years. Before 5 years in Kathmandu Valley, there was water problem in Kathmandu Valley. We all know that. And even today, there is water problem in Kathmandu Valley. What might be the possible reasons for the water shortage in Kathmandu? Few reasons that we found are: first is overpopulation. The first thing is because of the immigrants in Kathmandu Valley being the capital city. The second is population growth rate. And the third one is the practice of nuclear family. That these three main reasons are one first that we find. The second is the leakage and the wastage of the water from the loose tap or leaking tap. And the third one is the limited source of water. There are very limited sources of water that can be used. Finally, there is a problem that we are working on. It's the overflow of water tank. Have we ever imagined what is the amount of water that is wasted due to the overflow of the water from the rooftop tank? It's something like 50 liters of water each time once the overflow is made. Like once you turn off the water pump, there are more than 50 liters of water is wasted due to the overflow. So that is the problem that we are trying to solve using AI bunny. There is per day more than 7 million liters of water being wasted because of the overflow of the water. And as everybody says, saving energy is equals to generating energy. Similarly, in the case of saving water is equals to generating water due to the limited source of water sources. This is the automatic electric water pump system, AI bunny. It's study done in Kathmandu Valley. There are more than 2,000 houses. Actually, there are lots more than this. There are more than 150,000 houses, water tanks there, and more than 150,000 households use their water tank daily. Like they operate their water pump daily. And there is the possible wastage. I am not saying that this is actually the wastage of 7 million liters of water, but there is possible wastage of 7 million liters of water daily. So there are few products in market right now. They are working in similar kind of concept. But what we are trying to sell is the very good after sales service, like constant communication with the customers. There are two product lines. I will be briefing about that as well. It's easy installation, and we're partnering with existing brands. We don't want to be in competition. We want to partner so that we can create more impact. So the product line first is one of our online solution. That is, we connect the water tank to the internet so that level of water can be detected, can be stored in the internet server. We connect the water pump system to the internet so that the server has a software that can operate the water pump as per the level of water in the water tank. And it is the wireless system. Second product is, it is for non-internet users. Like if someone don't want internet or someone don't want their water tank or their water pump to be connected to the internet, then they will be using this kind of system. It doesn't use internet, but it is automatic water pump system. It automates the water pump according to the level of water in the rooftop tank. Few milestones that we have already achieved are prototype development, and I will be showing demo as well. Preliminary market research has already been done, and feedback from limited users were done, and we have improvised our system accordingly. And our future plan is to increase the team size. Currently we're working with 7 people and we will be increasing it in the future. Documents for customers, mass manufacturing and outlets. We need to have proper outlets so that we can sell the product more effectively. As I have mentioned, we won't be going for competition, we will be partnering with existing brands so that we can create more impact. We will be hiring more human resources in marketing field as well as in technical field. And we will be going for advertisement because although it's kind of social impact creating business, people needs to know what the thing is. There are 2 revenue models. One is SSL, that we will be selling the device, and one is subscription basis because there is internet-based system. So people needs to be paying about the charge for internet and the server cost and everything. So this is year 1 projection, revenue projection. This is the graph shows the quarterly projection of year 1. I have given the brief description in the business plan. This is for the 5-year projection, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. One is online. These are for the asset set, and this is for the subscription. The expenses goes in payrolls and office spaces, along with the manufacturing cost of the devices. So investment in device and investment in operating expenses. These are the 2 major expenses that we need to incur. So this is the first year projection for the expenses, and these are the 5 years projection for the expenses. Our team members are myself, Dipesh Khanna, Azim Marzan, and Sagar Tangar. We have been working in the field of robotics, electronics, automation, and technology since past 6 years, and we want to create impact with our skills and knowledge. It's not running. It's like
your idea.
Yeah. So we have been a lot of prototypes, and we are working on it. We are still collecting feedbacks, and once the feedback is done, we are trying to sell up to 1,250 units per first year.
First year, how number of people will get the social facility?
Sorry?
First year,
Yeah.
how number of people will get the facilities?
So it's 1,250 number of water tanks we will install in the system.
It will be rural area?
No, sir. It's in Kathmandu Valley. Yes. Because the major problem here is like we can create the social impact here, staying in Kathmandu for the people of Kathmandu, saving the water wastage.
Is it a social problem?
Actually, it is because there is, according to the research paper done from Puch's Engineering Campus, there was
because if people they are not facing this type of problem.
actually there is a huge problem of water shortage in Kathmandu. There is daily demand of 360 million liters of water per day demand, and the water supply of Kathmandu Valley is only supplying 140 million liters per day in wet season and 90 million liters per day in dry season. So it's a huge problem. If our system is implemented in every rooftop, then maybe the saving of water will be good enough to supply for people who are not having access to water.
So I'm trying to think, I mean, so for me, if I'm paying 8 to 10,000 rupees, I don't think water wastage is my problem. The problem is the time that I'll save by not watching and this is my home, right? My dad keeps watching, the water tank so that it doesn't overflow.
Yeah. So that
might be an interesting value proposition that the water wastage is
So that is also one of the value proposition that we are proposing, because once the system is turned on, you don't need to look after it anyway. If the water is running out in the middle of the night, then the pump can run. If the water is running out in any other time of the day, you don't need to be worrying about the level of water in the rooftop tank. So about the demonstration, basically, so it's like the thing would be inside the water tank, and it's called floating switch. So it will be something like this, and if there is no water, it will be something big. So just hold it, and the water tank will be turned on. So water tank is turned on, and once the water level rises up, it will turn off. So this is the basic concept that we're working on. That's it. and there is also mobile application so that you can remotely know the level of water in your tank wherever you are. So you don't need to go to your water tank and look after it.
Now we have the last presenter for today. She is Shriya Sharma with her venture Avocados and More. Avocados and More will bring the vast variety of avocado seeds in the body markets. Very rare in the market, these avocado seeds have more than 80 health benefits. The venture plans to distribute this vast variety of seeds to the marginalized farmer and aid them in the organic farming of the plants. The yield produced by these farmers will be then marketed by the enterprise directly. Thank you.
Many of us throughout life have problems such as blood pressure, 5 out of every 10 people, cancer, 6 out of every 10 people, diabetes, 4 out of every 10 people. And in my previous business incubation, I was always taught that, you can make a small change and create a very large impact. And this is what I did. Avocado is the only fruit in the world, or the food in the world, which has not only 10, not only 20, not only 30, but 80 health benefits, more than anything. And we believe that you can grow all your problems like this: blood pressure, cancer, diabetes, weight issues, exertion, stress, and even detoxifying your lungs from the Kathmandu pollution. And you know that pollution in Kathmandu is very high, and now that is the solution. But the problems that we face is not only the health incidences. The problems were both in the consumer level, and the other problems were also in the farming population. In the consumer level, wellness, more and more consumers had this busy life that they couldn't give much time to their exercises and fitness routines. But in the farming population, adulterated food, pesticide-added food, middleman culture which stripped farmers out of their benefits, and 25% of farmers in Nepal died below poverty line. And sometimes our problems became an opportunity for us. How did avocado become so feasible? It has 80 plus health benefits. The overall total number of gym in Nepal is increasing like 50%, and now it's being 50 gyms in just Kathmandu Valley. More and more people are looking for healthier options like organic, and the number of farmers market is increasing from 5. And organic is a $50 billion business worldwide, which hasn't been stressed upon in Nepal right now. It is a high-value product. Market growth is, the avocados have the second largest market growth in the world, and the consumer growth in Nepal is 3%. But what does this mean? This means that we have a large target market that we can target to. Avocados and More is a consumer-centric startup which is based on both the production and the marketing of organic hash avocados in Nepal. The reason why we're saying that it's consumer-centric because every business is formed on consumers, and without consumers you have no business, you have no marketing, and so on. And what have we done till now? This is one of our trees. In our garden we have 3 vigorous growing trees which have 200 kg per season, and look how beautiful it is. The traction is, we have already yielded 200 kgs in one season. We have 50 young plants about to grow into trees. The first marketing was done in Asia by the farmers market, where the revenue was 4,200, more than any stalls in that market. And we have gone to 3 business incubations. But this was not enough because we wanted to yield that 200 kgs into 4,000 kgs. And that is the main reason that why I'm here at the Business Challenge. The value proposition that will add to our business is an e-delivery. We believe that consumers can't go every now and then to the farmers market and pick up their organic stuff. So we'll put an e-delivery which gives more accessibility, a social media marketing which gives a more consumer-based, off-season marketing, which yields the price of avocados to nearly 20%. That means it's 1,000 per kg if we do an off-season marketing. It's much done on the fruit variety, but we have a hash variety which is a unique seller product. And look at here, it has a smaller seed in comparison and a larger fruit. Our revenue model comes from 4 different sources. 1, selling the fruit itself, 400 rupees per kg, 20% more per hash. 700 for a fully grown plant, 400 per kg for seeds, and EW, which adds 10% more. The use of fund, if I win this business challenge, would be the 1 lakh funding will be appropriate for me to establish a net ROI of 5 times in just 4 years. That means if you invest 1 lakh, after 3 years, sorry, not 5 years, after 3 years it will be 15 lakhs. And most of our products are seeds, nurseries, and fruits. And when we have this 15 lakhs per year revenue, we just don't want to concentrate on that because we want to diversify our products more. And when we diversify our products into avocado wine, which hasn't been done in Nepal, avocado oil, and avocado tea, which has a big scope in the market, this is one thing I want to do. But I was always impacted by Muhammad Yunus because he said that by giving people microfinance, you can help change the communities and help change the world. And I thought about this when we thought about avocados, that what if we give a microfinance to people as a source of avocado? What if we give the farmers avocados as a source of microfinance? So the first phase will be distributing hash sheets, and after 2 years, the fruit will yield. And now we'll do a collection system, which is a direct marketing, and help empower or help fill in the gaps between the direct marketing so that the middleman culture is sometimes reduced and farmers get more benefits across the country. And all it needs is just an avocado to change the world, change the nationwide.
I'd like to ask the judges to ask the questions if you have any.
The first thing is that it's for the hash variety, which isn't found in the Nepali market. So when we do it in the fruit variety, it's not so much maybe, but when we do it in the hash variety, because the seeds are not found in Nepal. When we first germinated the hash plant, we got 100 seeds from a single tree, and maybe those seeds used to empower the farmers. But it's not only about creating the benefits in the farmers, but it's also about creating the benefits in ourselves because we do a direct marketing and have some percent of the shares and stuff. So it's a sustainable business.
You share with the doctors? Because you mentioned that the diabetes and everything. Is it certified by the?
I lived around the hospital and I always meet doctors like this, and yes, diabetes is a big problem in Nepal, and obesity is also a big problem.
If you sell the product and if you provide the product.
So I use the general price trend of avocados, and in avocados it's also certified that you have eat health benefits.
If it is certified to the
no, it's not certified because it is in your American medical journal article that has been then
Hello, good afternoon. How are you doing today? I see people still coming in, so I'll just wait for a second. I see almost everybody young, and among you all, I look like the youngest. You know why I'm saying this? Somebody, a great philosopher, said, youth can have a different meaning. One is related to your age, which is chronological. Tomorrow you become 1 day older. So in that sense, you become 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. And if you are Satya Mohan Joshi, you are 99 years. In that sense, 99 years older than 70 years old. But the real definition should be, you are young as long as your dreams continue. This is why Satya Mohan Joshi, Madhav Ghimire,
They are almost 100 years. But they are very old. Still writing books, still writing poetry, still doing things. But there are people who are in their 20s and they hardly do anything. They get frustrated all the time. But give yourself a big applause, you are not among those. I don't have a long story to tell you because it has been a very productive and a long day. What I can tell you is 3 things that touch my heart today. Number 1, in the last 40 years, I have not sat through a session for 4 hours continuously. I'm not being bored. Maybe almost 40 years ago, I did my PhD and I sat in the graduate class for 4 hours, whether I liked it or not. But today, nobody forced me. I was sitting there, listening to you guys, and it was really interesting. Somebody, one of your entrepreneurs, the young lady, I forgot her name, she said, what is entrepreneurship? I think that was a very good definition. Solving problem. The whole idea of entrepreneurship, you have a big thesis, you have theories, you have books, but the whole idea is solve the problem. And how do you solve the problem is essentially, in every generation, in every day, in every week, the problem changes. So the whole idea is finding a solution to the problem, which is relevant to the contemporary world. In that one, the way I understand, this is for your consideration, for your thought, is there are 3 ingredients in entrepreneurship or solving problem. One is you have to make. You find a problem, like a lady, produce avocado. I was thinking I had planted 2 avocado trees right next to my house, and I pick up and eat. So one is make. And today what I was very touched by your presentation was, you have picked up 3 or 4 larger areas. One was agriculture. And we all know agriculture is a big area for Nepal and for survival for the whole world. No matter how much atomic bomb you have, how many jets you have, at the end of the day, so agriculture continues to be very important problem. So I saw a number of presentations which were related to one of the very important issues. The second issue that I found you guys concentrated was health. The biggest wealth is what? Health. Now here Manisha Koyal giving lectures. She was rich. She still is rich. She was beautiful. She still is beautiful. But she said, I made one big mistake in my life that I didn't take care of my health. Coming from somebody as smart, as beautiful, as successful as Manisha Koyal makes a lot of sense. So, the second area you guys picked up, 3 or 4 presentations were related to health. And in health also, there is a consumer and there is a producer. There is a doctor, service provider, and there are service recipients. There is a big gap. Provider want to access the service takers. Service takers want to go to the provider, but there is a gap. How do you fulfill that? Third area that we talked about is very important, the area of water. Just the last presentation, almost the last one was, how do you prevent wasting water from your tanks? This is one of my big problems too. That's everyone's problem here. Every morning when I see my little helper putting up the pump and the tank is filled and I have to get up and they say, hey, what happened? Then what I do is, just to save, I run to the toilet and flush. But that's not the real solution. The real solution is how do you stop that? Similarly, a young lady, very good presentation, very good how, talking about sanitary pads. This is the problem. But you find a solution. And the solution has to be effective. It has to be cheap as much as possible and is as widely as available, particularly going to the rural area. Not to take your time. So what I want to say is your presentations were very thoughtful and you picked up some very contemporary issues of relevance. In that one, the first message that I have is, when you have a problem, you have to make something. And this is what we were trying. But also don't forget, you have to break something also. Break the barriers, break the old thoughts, break the old technology. So making is one part of life, but breaking is very important. So there is a huge theory. There is a famous philosopher called David. His theory is a theory of deconstruction. We always talk about construction. But construction is not only important. Deconstruction is also very important. And very famous Nepali poet, Bhupi Sesson, you may have heard his name. He said, 90 साल को भैंचालो नभएको भए काठमाडौँतिर आउनु हुँदैन थियो। भैंचालो is not very good. अझै त्यो घाद्रा गुद्रु पार्दैन। त्यो पारेर हुनाले पुऱ्याउनु। So the second part of the whole thing is make bread. Then the third very important part is innovate. When you are making, when you are baking, you just don't do the same way your grandparents did. That doesn't mean you upset your grandparents. There is always experience side, there is always knowledge. Something will always remain true. But then you have to. This is one lesson. Second, since many of you have to manage, and we are a management college, I want to say management is very important in everything. But there are three ingredients. There's a big theory of management. One is managing yourself. Many of us blame others, but we fail to manage ourselves. Managing your time, managing your idea, managing your emotions, managing your relationship, managing your resources. Managing yourself is very important. Second is managing others, which you talked about, the team. And the third very important part which you are doing today is managing the network. You may have been very successful. This gentleman was presenting about vegetable, supermarket. What do you manage? You manage a network. There is a producer coming Sanu TV. Okay? And there is some producer coming from Thankot. And then he needs money, there may be banking. And you already know the meaning. Entrepreneurship is you innovate, you make, you break, but you do that keeping in mind not only your only interest, but also look at the interests of others. That others could be your friend, your relative, your countryman, your environment, or dog, or donkey, a cow. In that one, since this is nothing new, I want to conclude with a poetry. The poetry is written by, you must have heard his name, he is no more, Leknath Paul. And that's the social influence. What does he say? Makhamu mailamu arusava marun durbala. भनी दारा धस्नी अबुझ सटदेखि छकभरि चिता खित्का छोडी अब यसमा सुरु गरेको। Is this not social entrepreneurship? Makhao, mailao. That doesn't mean you don't eat. First you do for yourself. If you cannot protect yourself, you cannot protect anybody else. But then it's not only you, it's somebody else. And think about it, by doing this vested interest, total selfishness, you will make chitta in death. Right? Because ultimately, happiness is very, very critical. To conclude also, one more saying from Mahatma Gandhi. Sometimes we feel, if I don't grab anything, whenever I get, there is not going to be adequate in the future. This is the whole idea of people grabbing things and keeping it all the time. It makes sense to me, but you think about it, whether it makes sense to you. What is said was, the earth has enough to meet everyone's needs. Or you can create so much to meet everyone's needs. But there will never be enough to meet everyone's needs. Look at our Vinod Chaudhary, I'm not criticizing him. 1 billion, what will you do with that? Bill Gates, 79 billion. But they are also sharing. Imagine, Bill Gates had already contributed something like $20 billion for health, for malaria control. So essentially the social thing is basically do something for yourself, but also keep in mind somebody else. With this message, I want to thank you, all of you, for being here, for making presentation, for taking some beautiful pictures. Take my nice picture. When you get older, you have to look handsome. See, like Amitabh Bachchan. So anyway, thank you so much, and also thank you to the MC here. She had a tough job, not only announcing, but she had to keep time. And when you have to say your time is up, it's a very challenging job. You know, I know from my experience, I have worked in government, I worked at the university, I worked at the United Nations, and I'm working with my colleagues at King's College, so I know what it means. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Think about your work. Think about yourself.
Yeah, it was a very good afternoon. We had a lot of interesting social business ideas from very, very talented people and group of people. So yeah, I mean, obviously in any competition we have to decide a winner, which was not a very easy part. We had a little bit. I think we took a little bit of time because we really had to discuss. But yeah, definitely there were, like, you know, we didn't have any doubt. There were 2 or 3 that were among the best. But yeah, since the difficult part has been handed to me, I have to do it. So yeah, we all had quite some discussion and came up with the one idea that we thought was quite innovative, but did have a big social impact as well, and we felt like the person behind the idea was also quite passionate, and we felt like, you know, the money could be best used by this person as well. So if I'm saying it right. The winner today, today's social business challenge is Agro Shelter.
every